Good evening. This is the April 22nd, 2014 Board of Water Commissioners meeting. Here in attendance is 3 commissioners and our acting superintendent, Mrs. Deborah Egan, and we have the town treasurer present. So the first order of business is to accept the minutes from April 8th and April 12th, 2014. Have you finished reading?
No, I have not.
Right.
What's that?
Have you read the minutes?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, can we accept the minutes next meeting?
I think I'm almost done here. So you want to do it next week? I think we can. Have you looked it over?
I've roughed it over.
Okay. You want to push it forward to next week?
I'd like to
Okay, let's move right
take care
into
of business here.
the business here at hand.
Get the contract from
Well, I can jump into other business, or if we could just start, at least under old business, status of staffing plan from Mass DEP.
Okay.
That's important.
You'd like to start with that? Okay.
Received an email today from John Sikora of Weston and Sampson indicating that the DEP would like a copy of the staffing plan as soon as possible. Nick Zezoulis from the DEP is supposed to be coming on Thursday to look at the water treatment plant, but he wants the staffing plan in place. So I'm just trying to figure out what the status is, and if we need to have Weston and Sampson or somebody prepare that. If Mr. Griffin hadn't had time to prepare it, I think that needs to get done as soon as possible.
Okay, so with Mr. Griffin left, I think, a week ago Saturday, and he didn't have enough time to prepare the staffing plan. So what he did is he gave it to Mr. Smith to prepare, and he hasn't completed that yet.
So would it be the board's desire to get a price proposal from Weston and Sampson or some other company to prepare that?
I think that's
I'd like to see 3 quotes. You know, maybe Viola, Weston and Sampson. Who's that old man? CMW2 there. Something like that idea.
To write up a staffing plan
Well, maybe get a bid
For
and
the
see what it's
water
gonna cost us, you know?
for the water treatment plant?
I'm just not happy with Weston and Sampson, so.
Well, my recommendation is we hire the gentleman we had last year, Mr. Paul Provost, that was a operator here, primary operator here for approximately 6 months. He's familiar with our system, and he's familiar with this type of system down here we're about to turn on. And I think that he's knowing the personnel and everything, he would be a good fit. I think we get some quotes from various organizations to get temporary help in here from when Mr. Griffin had done that, so we had to look at that and see if we can, see if Mr. Provost can be hired.
No, I think I'm hearing 2 different things here. We're talking about preparing a staffing plan that's going to meet the DEP regulations for what the town needs with the flipping the switch on the new water treatment
Yeah, we
plant. So
don't
that
have a
would be,
primary operator.
that would be a document.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. Then you're talking about hiring him, I haven't got to further down on the agenda, to work in a different capacity, so I could, you just.
Yeah, but Deb, we don't have a primary operator.
The,
So we're gonna have to go to somebody like Weston and Sampson, one of these other companies for a primary operator.
Yeah, that's a separate issue than writing a staffing plan that's gonna be ready in 2 days.
staffing plan is usually put together by the superintendent,
Mhm.
who's now, your acting superintendent, or it's put together by the primary operator. So we have primary operator has put his resignation letter in. The only thing I can think of in the interest of the town is to hire somebody that's already familiar with our system. It's in the really pretty much the system that we're dealing with right now with that treatment plant, which is Weston Sampson. And we're gonna need somebody, and we're gonna talk about this later, we're gonna need somebody to, on an interim, temporary basis, cover for the primary operator. So that all points to one person that we've had before, so. We will.
So getting back to the staffing plan, what is it that the board wants to do with writing the staffing plan? I mean, I was
We have
handed
to hire,
this,
we have to
I
hire.
was handed this last week, I am going through it, it really is, what I would think is almost like an addendum, since they weren't clearly spelling out who needs to be where, but I mean, they certainly, you can extract things from what needs to be done from this
The
manual.
only thing is, Debbie, is a primary operator, once you get the licenses, it has to be turned in. Correct?
Yeah, that's why
And
I'm
you don't have
asking.
one, so I mean,
We have one,
We have one
that's
present.
separately on the agenda. I think the board has to talk about what to do after Mr. Smith leaves. But right now, they were asking for a copy of the staffing plan. They
yeah, but
wanted it
if
in
we
2 days.
put his name in there, we know that he's leaving within a month. I mean, that ain't right, correct?
Well, I would say so. We'd have to have a note on there. Whatever's submitted is in draft
Staffing
form.
plan is usually prepared by a primary operator.
Right, but what I'm saying is, we know that primary operator's leaving within a month's time. It runs off from his licenses.
Mhm.
I mean, it doesn't seem right to put his name down there knowing that we know he's leaving.
Oh, you have to have a caveat on there, that this person's leaving on May 18th. But I'm asking about, what is the board going to do about having a staffing plan submitted to the DEP? A draft staffing plan with positions and names and titles that needs to get into the DEP.
Well, we need to have our technical support consulting firm, which is Weston and Sampson, do that, because I don't think that's covered under their contract with the construction. We could check into that, but I don't think it is. So we just gotta have our Weston contractor take care of that for us. We need to hire them.
But Debbie's saying, we need a staffing plan now.
Yeah.
But we don't have the staff, is what I'm trying to say is, we gotta do something
Well,
different
I think
before we go to
that's-
the staffing plan, what I'm saying.
Oh, no, absolutely not. You need to have that staffing plan in there with the note that the primary operator's leaving, and then, what, the job will be posted, a replacement will be found, contracts, a contractor come in like you did last year or something. That can be put in there, but they want to see a draft of what the town intends to do. And as I understand, Mr. Griffin was working on this. I haven't had a chance to go through the computer. I don't have access to it. Maybe there's something in there. We certainly didn't have time.
Mhm.
All I know is the DEP is saying that they would like that this week.
Yeah,
I don't know if
They
the board has
won't come out
addressed
and
this.
inspect the plan unless they have that staffing plan, so that's the problem.
Do you have access to the interim superintendent's computer?
Well, I have his email that he prepared that went into detail what he thought it was needed to run the department. But it wasn't a staffing plan, so somebody's got to take his information and put it on a DEP form called a staffing plan.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
Doesn't Glenn, if you assigned Glenn a week ago to do this, he hasn't even got anything, he hasn't done anything with this at all, but he could just kind of hand you the.
He gave me an email about a half hour ago.
He hasn't got it done.
It's not done.
I mean, we've been talking about the staffing plan for weeks.
Yeah.
And everybody kind of said, oh yeah, it's all set, there's no big problem. Now it appears to be a big.
There is a problem with, we're gonna be losing him.
Well, I mean, Glenn can, I would think that Glenn would be the one to, right now, he's your man, and you're just gonna, like, the administrator says, you put an asterisk and say, he'll be replaced by somebody else, you're not gonna lose, you're gonna have someone in that position, so that takes care of, whether it's Glenn or it's another body, that takes care of your primary operator in the staffing plan now. Who's gonna do the other jobs needed below him, that I assume are not leaving the job?
Yeah,
It's really not the person, it's the position.
it's the position. So it's a matter of the former primary operator not agreeing with the former superintendent. So there was a problem there between those two things as far as putting a staffing plan together. So there is a problem there, somebody needs to step in there and then straighten it all out. So we need
I'm just saying, we got somebody leaving within 2 or 3 weeks.
I-
Do we want to put his name on it, or do we want to get somebody like
From my
Weston
own
Sampson?
point of view,
Go for
at
it.
this point, you got an emergency, I call Weston Sampson in the morning, whether you like what they're doing or not, have them put this together by the end of the day tomorrow. I mean, based on what they feel in their operations manual, it takes to run the plant. I mean, they gotta come up with, what the positions are, by, I would think by tomorrow night, they should be able to have
All right, so
that staffing plan at least put together in a draft form so that DEP can come out, because I would imagine if we don't have something for DEP, like for Thursday, they're not gonna come, they may be a month from now before they come back again, which is gonna really just go
well,
over.
I don't think it'll be that long. I think that they're ready to.
But I mean, we're getting into a messy area here of,
I think that,
Yeah, the time the time is really important here, and I think I need to draw that to your attention on this. We don't want to delay this. They want to come out on Thursday. If Mr. Peterson is correct in saying we have to get a draft plan, they may want some changes to it, but they know the regulations, Weston and Sampson, if we can get something into them in draft form and have that inspection done on Thursday, and I'll push this out. I think we've got to
I think we're
keep
better
it
off
going.
to do something like that, like what Dave said.
Yeah, I think
Just
we
go
gotta-
through Weston Sampson and.
I think you're an emergency, this is not, you gotta go get 3 quotes, you don't do that in emergency, I mean, it's fine if you can do that, but 2 other companies are gonna come in, they have no idea what they're talking about, to put together a staffing plan by the end of tomorrow, it's just not gonna happen.
So you'd be familiar with the,
Yeah, I
the
mean,
water
this is
treatment
their-
plant?
This is their plant, I mean, they should know, I mean, this is what we've been talking about, that they should have an idea of.
I think maybe we gotta get hold of somebody at Weston Sampson tomorrow morning first thing.
You know, I had suggested to you today, Bill Nunnery, I think it was the chief engineer on site. I didn't know if he was capable, but whoever you recommend, we need to get this going, and.
I recommend a primary operator, his name is Paul Provost, he works for Weston and Sampson, and we gotta get him on it tomorrow morning.
Okay. I can reach him through the office, Weston and Sampson.
Yeah, and
Okay.
through John Sikora.
Can we maybe even call Barbara, forget her last name, but tonight, give her a heads, you got a cell phone number? Give
I've
her a heads
already
up that we
notified
need
it,
this
I already
tomorrow.
notified it that
Okay.
we might be getting a call tomorrow, we need
Okay.
some immediate assistance, but we needed to hash it out
Okay,
tonight.
all right. So, I mean, I would like that to be emailed, if possible, to the DEP tomorrow, so we can keep the DEP on schedule to be there on Thursday, right?
Well, we need to, I'm not sure if the, staffing plan needs the signature on from the primary operator from that treatment facility or that department. I'm
Well,
not sure.
we'll have it sent in by Weston and Sampson to the DEP.
Yeah.
And so, in an attempt to keep things on schedule for Thursday.
Right.
That's, I think, what we have to do.
Sounds good to me.
Call for motion for that too.
I'll call for a motion for that.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
So I think you're gonna need to call, John Sikora tomorrow. And, see if Mr. Provost can come out tomorrow and meet with, perhaps me and the primary operator to get the information that we do have together and give it to him and have him work on it.
Okay.
So she's not all that, she's left-handed like us.
Some of it. Okay. All right. Old business, letter B. Okay, Carmine has prepared a handout. So I think this was discussed at the past meeting. I know the selectmen have been briefed on that. The septic system required wiring that wasn't included in the original design plan, the wiring plan, I don't know why. And I know Mr. Dalzell has gone out on site and brought his own personal professional expertise in the review of that. This, you know, I believe that there's no, we have no option on this. Unfortunately, this is an issue that we would have with the designer, Weston and Sampson. It's not a construction issue. You know, it just didn't call for it. So this is the change order.
The thing is, if we don't accept it, we ain't gonna be able to,
You can't occupy the building. So
exactly.
this has to be done right away. This is going back to February. And I asked you to make a recommendation on this.
Well, Stu had gone out there and checked again, because he, you know, we got some information, we gave him the check, and Stu went out there earlier or later last week and got some more information. Did you care to report on that, Stu?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we grant this change order. Am I happy about it? No, not the least bit, but it's necessary to get the job done.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll communicate that back, and our treasurer collector Karen Summit is familiar with this. So we actually need to have this signed off. We need some signatures, but this is a consent vote to approve this. So when the document does come in, it will be all ready for you to sign. Okay?
Okay.
There's nothing to sign on that tonight.
Okay.
I believe, do you sign the change orders at your construction meetings? Is that
No, they bring them forward on our meetings.
Okay,
And so it's usually a formal change order request like you saw before.
right.
They'll come before us with not only that, but several others. And we'll, you know, look at each one of those, somebody will present that, and then we'll vote on whether to accept that change order, which be comprised of maybe 4 other changes or 5 other changes in the construction.
Well, we have a consent vote, and that, just for the record, Carmine, that total amount is $10,248, I'm seeing here, for the septic electrical work.
In an effort to provide information to the board, they put these 3 change order requests forward so we could get a more heads up on it and get more information. This one we didn't really particularly like, but we needed more information. Say whether the work was done. I think the work was performed. I'm sure of that. So I mean, it was extra work, and it was, you know, it had to be done. So, and,
Okay, old business, we ready to move on?
Yeah.
Old business D, job posting, just to be clear, the position of water superintendent was posted on Tuesday, April 15th at the town hall, on the website. It was also posted on the Mass Municipal Association website, and it has been posted, Doreen worked on this today, New England Water Works website. I can also advertise it in the local papers and Boston Globe, Sunday, if you want.
I think that New England Water Works, at
I
least
would
we're
think
getting
that would be the
qualified
big
people.
one. And I think that that's the circle.
We're getting qualified applicants.
Okay, well then, I think I've covered all the bases then. If there's if you want me to advertise it in the local paper, I can do that.
I'd be happy.
well, I
just
don't know
with
what the local paper, but I think the Globe might be a good.
Very expensive.
Well, how much is it?
It'll probably be, at least $500.
I think we're good with it. Anybody that works in the business is gonna be through that waterworks thing.
New England Water Works.
Okay.
Okay, so the board want to make a motion?
I'll make that motion that we stay with the New England Waterworks.
Okay,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, so you're ratifying my actions. Okay, all right, so that's where that stands. Seasonal hire, so is it time now to post that position? Are we having one 40-hour week? I believe that's in your budget, one 40-hour week seasonal labor?
Yeah, it's the same description.
So it's for approximately, what did we say, like 12 weeks? 12 weeks.
The thing is, Deb, we need to get a little bit of raking done before we can start mowing it,
Sure.
so we don't wipe out the
Yep,
blades.
okay, that's fine. We do technically have a hiring freeze, so I have to present that to the selectmen
Okay.
for our April 28th meeting. And I have the job notice, so as soon as they approve that, I'll post it next Tuesday, which would be the
Okay.
29th.
Excuse me, if we go to 12 weeks, do we get tied into unemployment?
No, And we actually have instituted some things where we have employees now sign an acknowledgement that they understand they're on temporary employment and as such they're not eligible for unemployment. Status of town fuel procurement. I did request Carmine to attend a staff meeting.
You know, one that Tim asked me to go to on Thursday, and it was actually on Wednesday?
I don't know, I wasn't aware, I'd asked Carmine to come. We were meeting with the, police chief, the fire chief, highway, we had a cross-section of town departments, heads that use, that have vehicles,
Yeah.
so that we could get a bid ready for, purchase of gasoline, that we have to get that contract done. So that will, all those departments will be covered under that, so Carmen came to the meeting. And also we discussed the procurement rules regarding automotive mechanical services. So we had delegated the highway department to look into different things, and we've come up with a plan, and we're waiting to have it fine-tuned. We're gonna get a draft of that on a list of automotive mechanical services, and just having a checklist to make sure that we're conforming to Chapter 30B, and then there are no issues with that. We are. The threshold has been changed from 5,000 to 10,000. So it's very rarely you bring in a vehicle to be fixed.
In the past, on the gas and the diesel fuel and stuff, the fire department, I guess, and the police department, they got a discount where we never did here for some reason.
Well, you will under the contract.
So under that, we
The town
did
issues
the same as what
contract.
they had.
Correct.
Okay.
I wasn't aware of that. That you know, that definitely is something we'll have to manage. So we'll have something ready that will be bid through the Board of Selectmen, and the water department will be in that, and they'll get the benefit of that, and they don't have to worry about that.
Okay.
Okay?
Going back to the other thing, when will the seasonal labor be advertised and where? Is that gonna be downtown?
I post it at Town Hall and on the town website.
Okay.
I can put it in the town common if you think it's necessary. I can, you know, if you have anybody that's asked to be contacted in case there's any job opportunities, I can mail it out. I don't know if there's any calls here, usually coming to personnel, but we'll get it at the town hall and on the website.
Okay.
All right. And then on the second page of the agenda, with the FY15 water budget, we had to go to town meeting and print the water budget that didn't have the changes that were made the night before the FinCom had looked on it. So I need to make sure that the water board is planning to present a water, you know, the changes that are in the water budget that was prepared by Mark Griffin,
Yeah.
the final version. So we're gonna have to have that at town meeting. You're gonna need to be prepared to speak about that,
Okay.
okay? I just wanna
Which
make
has
sure-
the rates on it too. So,
Yeah,
okay. So is that, you got that copy? Ian?
I don't have it handy right now.
Yeah.
I could get
You'll
it
make
back.
sure you get it to me. Okay.
oh yeah, well, before that, if you scroll down on your agenda, number 2, you're gonna have a dry run of that next Monday evening. So I would suggest that who's ever gonna present at town meeting be the one to come next Monday night, meet with the selectmen on the informational hearing and go over the water board budget.
Is that a joint meeting or just one guys that go?
No, it's a Board of Selectmen meeting. Actually, the FinCom is gonna be meeting jointly because they need to take action on a couple of things that they hadn't voted on.
So just the chairman has to go to Monday
I
night?
would suggest it just be the chairman, and I have some selectmen here, if they want a joint meeting with the water board. Okay, I think it's just the chairman, a dry run. You can review it in front of the public, whoever attends this informational hearing, as well as the Board of Selectmen and the Finance Committee. And then discuss the rates. And Karen, of course, will be here, and she'll be able to help them next Monday night.
I'll be there.
Okay, we're ready to move on. Hydrant flushing. There's been an article in today's newspaper. Carmen worked on that last week, and Glenn had prepared the notice, so he's worked on communicating that out. We haven't done a reverse 911. I wasn't sure of the timetable on that, but that's something, if you want done, we can do it. You're just gonna have to be clear on
We
who's
used
getting
to,
this
at
call.
one time, put up a sign down by the ag one, you know, by the ball field, saying that hydrant flushing was going on. I don't know, do we still have that?
I think there's
Thing that we
signs
can hang
on,
up.
on poles that are there, this, they
There's
don't
some
have a
on
date.
Havel- I haven't noticed they're on Havel Street, but, you know, some of them, where they're coming into town, you know, like from 1A or 133.
I know there's one on 1A, and I think there's one right past Glen Street on Route 1.
Yeah, I think there's one down here.
Yeah.
It just, there's no date on it, that's all,
Right.
there's no date on it.
Just so people coming home from,
Yeah,
Yep.
from work, they come in town, they see it.
so I haven't done the reverse 911, but Carmen got it in the newspaper, it's on the website, pretty, you know, big message there. It's been announced at the selectmen's meeting. So is that, are you satisfied with that, or?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll just leave it like that, we won't do a reverse 911, okay.
Somebody should put a date on the sign, the
Yeah.
signs are in place. So
Right.
just The date
When
blank.
they're gonna do it.
Someone needs to go out and, you know, physically put
Right.
the date on there.
So is that something, that, you know, somebody could do here, and, or should I do it? Do we have something I can affix to
The
the
place down
sign?
here, we got signs before, can't we get this as like a strip to put on the bottom of the signs?
That guy's gone.
No, there's a new guy down there.
What was it?
Yeah, Doug's signs or something,
Okay.
so,
Maybe we could talk to Highway and see, they might know.
you know, maybe you can just make a small sign, we
Yeah.
stick on the signs that,
Yeah,
you know, from
yeah, makes
such and
sense.
such date to such and such date or something.
Yeah, makes
That's a
sense.
good idea.
Okay. Okay,
Well, we just put the signs on.
Yeah, Deb, can you have the operators put the sign on?
sure, as soon as I get the dates,
Okay.
that's what I
They're
need.
doing it tonight, and they're doing it, yeah, so.
Okay. That wasn't clear to me exactly when this was gonna take place, and
Yeah.
and which section of the town, so.
I thought that they had the dates down, but
Well, I wasn't sure, you know, on what exactly when and what time, you know.
yeah, they're doing it late at night.
All
I
right.
think the.
Well, I had no way to communicate with any of these
Well,
people.
yeah, Bob, I think,
So,
recited it from a memo or something at the last meeting, at the selectmen meeting,
Karen, do you remember?
I don't, I can try to find something.
yeah.
See if I can take a look.
Okay, and I'm gonna turn this over now. Karen is here to discuss, number 4, discount water bill discount date, the demand policy, and, if there's anything on number 6 from Ms. Goodwin, or number 7, discuss customer complaints. So can I turn that over to you?
Sure.
And I have to think about it.
There's been some conversations about changing the discount policy. Right now, it stands at 10 days. And I believe there was some conversation about making it mimic the light department's policy,
Exactly,
which would be the last day of the month.
yep.
And I think the conversation was that that would start on the first of the fiscal year, July 1st. But that was something that you needed to approve and vote on.
I'd like to make a motion that we do that, start July 1st. For one reason, I got my new Penachuk bill. We didn't receive it till the 14th. So I mean, we've already lost 4 days. So now we're down to 6 days for people to get the discount. I'd like to make it so it's to the end of the month, starting July 1st.
Do you want to keep them keeping the regular schedule for them getting the data, putting the bill together, so we get up to the people on the 14th?
Well, evidently, they mailed it the 10th, I got it the 14th. At least that's when I got mine. I don't know when everybody else got theirs.
I believe we voted on that.
I thought we did, but I'd like to make it a motion right now that starting July 1st, it goes to the end of the month, the same as the light bill.
I think we discussed it, but I think we might have discussed it in a joint meeting.
Yeah, but I think a couple of meetings ago, we voted it.
I think you had voted on it, but not when to start it.
All right.
So I think we just wanted to make it clear, and so everybody knows
Let's
when it
re-vote it
starts.
then.
The new fiscal year just
July
starts
1st. All right,
and goes to the end of the month. Same as the light department one does.
that's the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and then I have a couple of lists of customer requests that I've received from Tara at Penachek. I have a couple pages, you have copies of them. They're really, really small. But a lot of the complaints have to do with some of the data when we converted the accounts didn't go over smoothly. We have some people that, had payments that weren't posted. They had discounts that weren't posted. So I'm working through this to, kind of do the common sense test and adjust these payments. But I wanted to let you know that, we are getting things from Penachek.
I don't understand, I mean, you take like the 11th day, we're already gonna do a demand after we get to the discount part. It seems like the way my bill comes through, and it's just, we're paying $5 for that, and it seems like we need more of a grace period.
Well, the way that it's set up now is the discount date is 10 days. And then what happens is the bills are due on the last day of the month. And then what happens is anything that's paid before the bills are printed goes out, but any balances that are remaining receive interest in demand. The interest goes back to the due date per mass law, and then there's a demand that's put on there for $5. And I was reviewing the water department rules and regulations, and what it says is that in addition to interest charges, there shall be a demand of $5 for each additional reminder notice sent. Well, that was true when you did semi-annual billing. You actually physically sent out another piece
Right,
of
I mean,
paper.
we don't get nothing in the mail now, and we get charged $5 a boot.
Exactly, which is why I think the board may want to consider discontinuing that.
I'm agreeing.
Because it seems like the spirit of why you would charge a demand is because you have to send out another piece of paper and to cover that cost.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that, like I said, dates back to when you did billing twice a year.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So what we would do, vote to eliminate the demand?
And to amend the
And to
Article
amend,
8, Section 2?
Section 4.
Well, you would want to have a demand though. Say the bill was
It's 30 days, yeah.
delinquent 60 days.
Well, see, that's when you have the lien process.
Okay, so do you think the lien process is going to take care of the payments versus putting a demand on it?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so, because what happens is it appears that when you're doing monthly billing, you're dealing with such a tight time frame that you're charging people demands that shouldn't be charged demands, and it's mucking up the whole process.
I make a motion that we do away with the demand thing.
Should be a minimum of 30 days before you send out a demand.
Well, they don't send out demands. All they do is just send out more
No, you
bills.
shouldn't be doing that.
Right, exactly,
That
exactly.
gets you in trouble.
Right. So I think, it doesn't really fit in with monthly billing.
They
And
fit in with bi-yearly billing.
Absolutely.
It doesn't fit in with monthly.
absolutely, because you were physically sending out another
And we
bill.
have something to take care of the process of getting payment.
Exactly.
Which is the lien process. So, but I'd like a motion to eliminate the
I'll make
demand
that
fee
motion.
for the monthly process. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The other point I wanted to bring that was brought up in one of these customer complaints was a landlord asking to have the water account transferred into his tenant's name. And I was looking at your rules and regulations, and what it says is all bills shall be rendered to the recorded owner or to, I think that's supposed to be his authorized agent if the written notice of the appointment of said agent is on file with the department. Owners of property shall be held liable for the charges to the tenants. And I guess, is that the procedure? Do you have someone?
I think what it is we get nothing to go against if it's a renter. And he's renting the place, we have nobody to go against to put a lien on.
Well, the lien goes with the property, so,
I mean, in other words, it goes to the owner because he's
correct.
in charge of the property, but a renter could move out at any time and we could be chasing him for 6 months or a year.
But we wouldn't chase him, we would put a lien on the property. So what we would want to
But
know.
if he's just renting, we gotta go to the owner of the property.
That's right, that's right. So I guess what my question is are you enforcing that you have something, if you are asked to do this, do you have something, written, signed by both the tenant? Because you don't want to have a landlord say, hey, I'm just gonna put this in your name.
That's a good idea. So if we could have it such that if the tenant and the landlord or the owner of the property want to come up with a authorization for the tenant to get the bills, then they should have some kind of a document that they can give to the department saying, allowing that. And would that help out?
Or another suggestion was that the bill will always stay in the name of the property owner, but then be sent care of the tenant. So once again, this is a procedure that, has, come up in our customer questions that, I think the board would want to clarify.
I mean, that's how my bill comes.
Okay.
It's for the estate, care of me.
Right,
I think it needs to stay with the property.
right.
The other side of the coin is, like the light department, the tenant would pay a deposit. So the tenant could pay the water department a deposit.
I'm not sure, I would have to look into the rules and regulations because they operate under a different section of the Mass General Laws.
And tenants can pay for electricity and it's different with water.
Yeah, I think the rules
Yeah.
regarding water are
It's
different.
still with the property.
I think this would be the simplest way to do it.
Do we have to make up a new bylaw? Is that how we do this?
Well, I think you may just want to amend Article 7, number 8, that says that the bills will be rendered to the recorded owner and at the request may be sent care of the renter.
Okay.
What's involved with the regulation change?
I mean, that would be something, what we would do, probably, maybe with the things that we've discussed, is have your bylaws amended, and then have you approve the amendments. What you can say tonight is that you agree, in spirit, and then, we can go in and change the physical document, and then you can approve the whole bunch.
That's how it's done now,
Yeah.
take care of.
No, the way it's done now is that it says that it can be changed with written notice to the department.
You're still running
No,
a problem
I just,
between the landlord and the tenant. The tenant's gonna leave and the landlord says it's not mine.
Well, ultimately, it goes with the property.
Yeah.
I know.
Ultimately, we
I
leave
think
the property.
You need to make sure that that's spelled out,
Right,
definitely, that it belongs to the landlord. Whether
Right.
it gives it to the tenant or not, it belongs to the landlord.
right.
But maybe we should get
I
an
mean, if they skip
acknowledgement.
town, the landlord's still reliable.
that's
Correct.
You have to make sure he is.
So maybe we should get an acknowledgement letter from the owner saying that he understands that if that tenant doesn't pay, he's obliged to take care of that.
That's the way it's done now. The property owner gets a bill, it can go to the tenant, in care of the tenant. That's the way it is right now.
Right. No, it's not. If someone called,
I can tell you, I respect.
I got one right here.
I can tell you.
Tell mine.
I can tell you, that's how some of mine come.
well, we had a request from a tenant, or from a landlord, to change the water bill over to his tenant's name. So I'm looking for clarification, because ultimately, the landlord is the
Maybe-
one who's responsible.
Maybe, Karen, they handle it internally here by just putting it care of the
Right.
tenant.
Well, see, with Penachek handling the calls, we need to give them the procedures that says, no, we don't do that. What we can do is we can put this, the account stays in the name of the property owner, and we can send it to the attention of the
Care
tenant.
of the
Right,
person
exactly.
has the apartment.
Exactly.
But the person that actually owns the property,
Is
that's who's
ultimately-
gonna get the
yes.
lien.
Correct,
So how are we gonna word that?
yeah,
I agree with that.
so,
Yeah. So, I
Okay.
mean, they're operating off these, that's why,
That's
if you
why.
have a practice, then it's not official and established. So this is
Well, it sounds
really-
like we need a bylaw change, because that's already happening.
well, it's a department regulation.
Yeah.
right, because, this is the nature of the questions that we're getting.
Yeah,
And, you read them and it says, well, gee, I think that this makes sense. But, it's not written down anywhere for them to reference.
mhm,
And it's important that we have the regulations clear and up to date,
yeah.
Right.
and in something like this, so there is no
So-
misunderstanding.
Well, the regulations would be modified or amended to at a town meeting, right?
No, you just amended
The board.
you just
Oh, we
did
can
one
do
on
it
the other
board
one
level?
under the
Yeah,
mayor.
it's your departmental procedures,
All right.
basically, is what.
Okay, I didn't know that, so.
Yeah.
I make a motion, we do it the way Karen was just saying.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
And then, like I said, what we'll do is
So, do
we'll
we have a
make
second
some
to that motion?
changes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Just to fill you in on some of the other things, we had some people that were having issues with ownership transfer issues, and I believe some of these are still going on. What happens is when Penachek is asked to do a final reading for we're finding this with new construction, what's happening is they're not able to find some of the information that they need to set up new accounts. Have you been working with Tara on that, Carmen?
No, I haven't actually.
Okay. We have some bills that, this is the Raleigh Country Club project that weren't transferred out of the developer's name. So these are things that we're working on, but that's something that, because the information isn't there, Penachek isn't able to schedule final readings. So that is an issue that we're dealing with. But, other than that, it's basically, I didn't get my discount.
I'm not sure how they handled it in the past.
Well, what's supposed to happen is, when you have a change in ownership,
Yeah,
there's a final reading that's done.
yeah,
And as a condition of that final reading, you get the new owner's information.
yeah.
Well, the loop wasn't being completed.
I don't know how to complete the loop, so, how do you do that?
Well, the way it's being done now is, Penachek has the information,
Yeah,
and they're the ones that schedule the final reading and send someone out to, read the meter, do a final reading. They get the information, and then they're making the change of ownership.
okay.
So the next month, when the bill goes out, the bill goes out
To the new
to the right people.
With the start
Right,
meter reading for whatever, yeah.
right,
I know that Glenn's been out doing some final reads, so.
right, which Penachek is now scheduling.
So there's a procedure there, I'm not even familiar with it, they handle that internally.
Right, exactly.
Okay,
But there
There's a-
are some that, like I said, the loop wasn't being closed, and we're working to fix them.
okay, very good.
And that's about all that I have on my list of things that.
Barbara Goodwin letter?
Yeah, so I went back, and Karen drew this to my attention. This has been an issue that's popped up, Barbara Goodwin, regarding the status of her, she had some damage or something from frozen pipe, and she's made a request to either have that abated if possible, if not a payment plan. And Mr. Chairman, at your instruction, you said that you needed to put that in writing. What I'm getting is sort of through different sources, that this is what I perceive to be the situation. It hasn't come in yet. Carmen's been in conversation with her, so I think at some point you may want to have her come in when we get the letter and discuss her situation. I'm not sure what's permitted under the regulations that you have. regarding a situation like hers, but I think we just need some more information.
Well, what typically happens is the, either primary operator or one of the secondary operators goes out and investigates the leak or whatever.
I mean,
I think it was a frozen pipe. I think she was out of town and there was a frozen pipe and,
Well, the primary operator gives that to the superintendent,
Yeah.
bring it to the board with a letter from that person requesting a hearing, or not a hearing, but a request for an abatement. So that's how they would handle it.
okay.
And then they would come in and discuss their situation with that particular bill or the leak or whatever with the board, and then they would either grant an abatement or not. And so the forms would be filled out, I think, by Carmen.
As far as the abatement,
Yeah.
I only conducted one abatement, so.
I think that would actually be done through Pennachuck.
Okay, so now the abatements would be done through Pennachuck.
Well, what we need to tell them is, once again, we need to give them a procedure.
Yeah.
So if the procedure is going to be that if someone has a question about their bill, they would write a letter to the Board of Water Commissioners.
yeah, we're still gonna go over it, right? We're gonna be the
So
final say.
Pennachuck would tell that customer, you need to address this with the board. So you write a letter to the Board of Water Commissioners.
Right, and would you first review the letter and then decide if you wanted to have that person come in to a
That's what we've
meeting?
done in the past, Karen.
Is that the
Well,
procedure?
The superintendent would look at it, and it was, I would assume,
I guess, is there a pre-screening before it goes before
That's
the
what we're
board?
trying
the
to find out what the
superintendent would
process.
get the letter.
Okay,
And then, see, the.
It was mentioned to us, and then we
Through
make
the
a motion at a meeting to
Okay.
have the people come in at the next meeting
Okay.
at their
Super-
convenience.
yeah,
And then we discuss what the problem was with the
Okay.
discount, or
Yep.
too many gallons, and this, we made up a thing that we used on the board at the time, when Scott was still here, that if we had to swap out the meter, if it came back within 98%, they were saying that there's no way they use that much water. If it came back within 98%, they would pay the cost of
Okay.
the meter testing, which is, I think it's around $100.
yeah, okay,
Another way of saying it, they would say, okay, it might be a meter problem. And so they would go out and they would present it to the customer that we would do a meter test at their request, but if it was 98% accurate,
mhm,
then the town would pay for that meter test, meter calibration test.
Yep.
But if it was a meter problem, that they would have to pay for it.
right,
In other words, the meter came back and it was only 71% accurate, then that test, perform that test would be covered by the customer. And I'm not sure if this is written down anywhere. Do you think it might be written down right?
I'm almost sure it is.
And the regulations,
But,
do you know what section? Offhand?
I remember we've brought it up a couple of different times since I've been on the board in 5 years.
Well, since this is actually very specific.
I'm
issue
going
of,
over this right now, yeah, and I'm noticing an awful lot of people saying they never received their March bill.
but the March bills are the ones that the last bill that we sent out. So there
But I'm
was-
saying there's an awful lot of people saying they didn't receive that.
Right,
So maybe we need to do something on, not charging interest and demand. I mean, if a lot of people didn't get the March bill for some reason, I don't know, but there's quite a few people, different people saying that.
That was what the town did. That was the last one that the town sent out. I don't know why.
I don't either. I mean, I got mine, but I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know what
Yeah,
happened.
Yeah,
But
I think
there's
that's
5 or
something-
6 right here saying that they didn't
Yeah.
receive the March bill.
I know.
yeah, mhm. And that's on my list of things that I'm working with Tara on.
But I think,
My inclination would be to
do
not
away with
charge-
the interest and the demand thing,
not
what I'm
charge the
saying.
demand, right.
I would think that, but that's the board's decision.
Do you look this over, Sue?
if they didn't get the bill.
I mean,
Waiver.
somebody could say, we
Well-
get the bill, but I mean, there's 5 or 6. that
Maybe
can
for
say-
this particular instance, for the March bill, if it didn't get to the customer and there's valid demonstration that it didn't, that the staff would be able to take off the demand and the
Correct.
interest on it.
Correct, and you can look back at
So,
the history
yeah.
for an account and see people who have,
There was one day that whoever made that up, I don't know if you made that up,
So that would be a motion.
but it said that, they always paid, you
Right.
know, to get the discount.
Yep.
And they say they never get the March
Yeah.
bill.
Right.
So that'd be a particular motion for that particular bill.
Right, and some, well, and some, I don't think you need to make a motion for a particular bill, because some of them
No,
have to do with
particular
posting
event,
errors.
it was making the March bills that had problem.
But I think some of the things too, some of the reasons people didn't get a March bill was because there was an incorrect posting, and actually their account showed a credit,
Okay,
so there was no bill that was there. So I think, you know, you have to kind of look at a case by case. But, you know, my inclination would be to, you know, give the benefit of the doubt to the customer.
okay.
I mean, when you have 5 or 6 on a sheet like that, I think we should.
Right, right, and like I said, some of them, you know, I know that there was one that I looked at, and there were actually no bills sent out because of a posting error and a credit balance on the account.
Okay,
I agree. Give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
that sounds reasonable. So that's another thing from Penachuk picking up on the,
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, this is the kind of a log of their calls,
okay,
that they, you know, needed some
clarification.
clarification from us.
Okay,
I mean, there's 4 or 5 bills that they wondered why they didn't get the discount. Well, they didn't get the discount because they didn't pay.
yeah.
You know, even,
Well, this is a transition.
Right.
We've had some
right.
bumps in the road here, so
Right.
let's just, what's the next one?
I would, there is one that, is regarding a verbal water agreement, because of a bill that he had last July. That one, we need to do a little more research on. Here's one that they didn't get the March bill and are asking that the interest in demand be waived. Here's one asking for.
Excuse me, Karen, can you go back to the one that was last year or something?
They had a big bill last July, so apparently they were on a verbal payment plan that dates back
And it
to,
wasn't something that Penachuk picked up with the data that they brought over?
no,
Okay,
no, it was, I don't believe it was ever formalized.
okay,
It's my understanding that when there's a request for a payment plan, the board has to approve it, and you give 6 months to pay the back water bill while paying the current charges. And that's how we do our real estate payment plans.
What we've done in the past down here, as far as I can remember, anybody that's willing to work, if they come in, even if it's a, you know, a hardship case, they get a $20 bill, as long as they try it and not avoid it.
Exactly, exactly.
You know, I mean, we've worked with everybody.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Well,
absolutely.
I think the key point is we want to make sure that the water board is approving these situations. This one came up because it was a verbal with someone. And so when that transitions over to a company like Penachuk, that's keeping now, it has a master database with every piece of information on each customer. They're telling.
And if there is a payment plan in there, it should be, I mean, the terms of it should be
The
spelled out.
documentation
I think
must
if
be
you go back
on
on the
there.
minutes on this one that you're talking about, from what I can see right now, where the guy called and had a verbal agreement, I
Mhm.
think if you go back on our minutes on that date, or somewhere in that area, you'll probably see that he did come in
Okay.
and we talked about it, maybe we didn't vote on it, I'm not positive
Yeah.
how that worked.
It would have to be in the
But,
minutes. Well, that'd be helpful.
it's gotta be in the minutes if you
Well,
came in.
Right.
we'll have
right.
to look for that. Yeah, and, you know, working just to try to also set up some
But I remember somebody from
official.
the street coming in saying
Okay.
that
Mhm.
we did work.
Okay, well, we'll get some confirmation, maybe Carmen can look it up in the minutes and we'll try to track that down.
Right, right. I mean, but if he's been, you know, if he's been making these type of payments all along.
I know last time we had, you know, probably half a dozen people that had come in,
Right.
Okay,
and we worked out an agreement with them, and,
okay,
you know, first we sent somebody out to make sure they didn't have sprinklers and pools and
Sure.
all that kind of stuff.
okay. Well, you know, what I'll do, while I'm working for the board is try to tighten some things up. In the selectmen, they have an official action notice that documents every motion and vote, and it's cross-filed in numerous locations. And I think that something like that will be a template that I'll set up with Carmen that will be used and then also transmitted to Penachuk.
But
So it
I
includes
know,
everything.
I know some of these people came in,
yeah.
Mhm.
You know, we had a meeting, well, it's gotta be in the minutes that so-and-so came in.
Yeah,
Right.
that's why we defer to you on these.
6:30, 6:45, or
Yeah,
whatever. you know.
it's just the paperwork isn't
Yep.
seem to be accessible to us on that, and so, but going forward, we'll tighten that up. Okay.
Is there a file drawer here with the abatement center?
Yeah, we used to have to always sign, remember we used to have to sign 3 of them
Yeah.
at a time, that, you know, the 3 copies?
Yeah.
So there's an abatement book somewhere in the office.
There's an abatement book, there's probably a lot of different books there, so we just gotta get more familiar with the card, so.
Yeah, one time we had a book when Marie was still here that we did, and then when Laura came on, she changed it over, remember? That we had just a sheet
Mhm.
that we signed. I mean, I don't know how far back this one goes, but,
Okay, well, I'm sure we'll try to locate things, and if not,
but I know when Marie was here, we had a book that we used to sign the
Okay.
abatement for.
all right, that's good, and if for some reason we can't find it, what we may do then is have the board vote to memorialize the current practice of granting these payment plans to these individuals that they've been operating under.
Right.
Okay. Anyone else on it?
No, I think that's it.
Anyone else on it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, okay, so I have an update. The first thing is, there was a letter of resignation that was submitted by Mr. Glenn Smith. And Carmen has copied that for the board. He has, was received this morning. His last day is May 18th, I believe. So the board needs to vote to accept that resignation. I will file with the town clerk in the morning.
Okay, so essentially he's resigning, starting on 18th of May. And he wants to take his accrued vacation beginning on May 19th.
Well,
Is that a town policy?
No, he will receive his vacation on his last paycheck that he's actually worked.
Okay, so how are we gonna get that information? Is that gonna be?
No, it'll be on his paycheck.
Okay.
No, we pay that, we put that on the
Okay,
last paycheck.
so do I have a motion from the board to accept this?
I'll make the motion.
Second? Do I have a second?
The way you just said.
Oh,
No, I thought you just said
yeah,
second.
okay. Do you want to second it?
Not really, I don't want to, I'd love to try and talk to them, see if we can get them to stay,
Yeah.
if at all possible.
Well, I think it's, he's pretty much accepted another position, right, so,
It's just, he's a good man and I hate to see him leave.
well, how would we done to say?
I don't know.
Well, I think it's inevitable, so he's gonna leave, so I would second the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's 2 in favor, 1 not voting. Okay, so we need to advertise that as an open position?
Yeah, we would be posting that position.
Is there a personnel board issue there, or?
No, I have a hiring
Oh, the hiring
freeze,
freeze.
so I would put it on Monday's agenda
Okay,
and post that.
okay.
Okay. All right,
Same place, we're gonna advertise that?
yes,
Water
we'll
4
do that. The second item that I need to bring to the board's attention is quite urgent. The contract with Weston and Sampson, I was notified by email in the afternoon of Friday, April 18th, that the contract expires on the 18th with Weston and Sampson. This is an extension that was voted on by the Water Board on March 4th, I believe. You had extended it to cover the extension of all the work that had to be done. So they're obviously not finished. So right now we need to extend the contract with Weston and Sampson until, I believe it is June 13th, because there's remaining work to be done.
Mhm.
under the current contract, so,
Where are you getting this from?
I got it today.
It's not in our packet, you know what I'm saying?
No, because
Oh, okay,
I got
okay.
this today, and was.
No, I was just trying to find it.
Yep, no, it's right here. So they have, they're saying that they need to, they were working yesterday, I presume, from 4/21 to 5/23. They're saying that it would be 23,905. From 5/26 to 6/13, another 9,762. Total of 8 weeks of work. So right now, there is no contract with West End Sampson in effect, which is a serious issue, so this needs to be expedited immediately. It's not on the agenda because I needed to put it under my update because I just.
No, is that due to our fault or their fault?
Well, I would have presumed this would have come in earlier. Not on Friday afternoon, of the
Yeah.
last day of the contract, but that's what happened. So I will defer to you, Mr. Chairman, so the board needs to vote. I've reviewed it, Mr. Summit's reviewed it. It's in line
Okay
with the
with it.
last one you approved in March. I pulled off, I got a copy of from Barbara Cook, I asked her for the last one, since I didn't have a copy of that she sent me. So that's the one that,
Let's see the previous one. Oh, yeah, that was-
well, you already saw that, so you were in my office this afternoon.
What
That's,
was your
that's number
recommendation?
6, this is number 5, which was voted on
I was voting on.
March 4th.
Okay,
You weren't at that meeting, I think.
so Roy and Stu signed it.
Yes.
Okay,
That was for the 61,000.
okay.
And Sue had come to the selectmen's meeting
What
on
is your
March
recommendation?
3rd. I think you have to sign this immediately.
Did you figure this
It's
change?
33,000.
Okay,
That is, she explained, that's the difference between the total fee here and there. So I got some clarification.
okay, so this 63 is an accurate number? No.
Yeah, it's
On
the
this
total amount. Read the bottom, 792,000, is that it?
795,392.
So the difference between that and 761,725 is
Okay.
33,000.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we approve that contract tonight.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that on Debbie's recommendation.
All in favor?
Aye.
So we're to sign this document?
Yes,
Right there.
and I will present it to the town accountant tomorrow. It needs to be certified. So this is coming out of the contingency fund of the SRF.
Correct.
That was the other question I had, which I resolved this afternoon.
Okay.
So that's where the
How much
funding
money,
is.
how much money is left in the contingency?
I think it's about
Take the black
490,000.
pen, please. This one.
490,000?
Correct. The only thing that's come out of there so far is the last Weston and Sampson bill.
Thanks.
Finished the original allocation of 700,000, and the balance came out of the contingency. But that was all approved
What's that, Tina?
on the request for funding by DEP. So I assume that was all approved at the last construction meeting.
Okay.
There must have been discussions going on about this, I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm sure there was.
So, and what they're indicating is, if there's an additional extension with change order number 8, you approved change order 7 earlier this evening for the
Which one's
second.
number 8? Is that the one with the molding?
I'm not sure what it is because I haven't seen that. I presume you did. They're saying that they may include an additional time extension because they're negotiating the details of change order number 8.
That's gotta be the molding.
So there
Well,
may
what-
be another, my point is, we may need to extend Weston and Sampson after the 13th of June if there's
I
some
think,
other reason related to change order number 8.
Mr. Chairman, I think you get a chance tomorrow or the next day, find out which number 8 is, and if the molding, let's, the 3 of us get together and see if we can't straighten that out before we have to pay more money for, an extension.
Well,
Personally,
we already notified them that we're not gonna go.
Well, I think what we should do is sit down, the 3 of us, have a meeting about it, and, maybe we discuss this. I mean, in the long run, it looks like it's gonna cost us money if we don't do it, and we still ain't gonna get the work done.
I'm not clear on what I'm trying to,
Well,
so it's changing the rate.
they're gonna extend the contract, we're gonna pay more money to extend the contract, while we're still arguing about just the molding part, is what I'm saying.
we'll skip
So I
it.
think we gotta,
We've rejected change orders before. They haven't, you know, it's not a vital part. It's not something that's
no,
gonna last.
we're paying money to keep extending it, what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's what's in the contract, yeah, for Weston Sampson.
So I think we should seriously think about talking about this.
I
I'll
can't,
get her in here to talk to her about it or something,
well, we ought to put Hargraves on the,
whatever.
Excuse me, gentlemen, I have to
okay.
head off to an appointment.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you, Cameron, for coming in.
Thank you, Karen.
You're welcome.
Have a good evening.
All right, you too.
So I can get information on change order number 8 tomorrow and make sure that Carmen gets that information to the water board so you have a chance to review it. I apologize, I don't know what change order number 8 is.
No, I'm just saying, if they're
I
gonna
thought
keep
they
stringing it
were-
along and it's gonna cost us money
It could.
on an extension of contract.
They're negotiating that
Yeah.
according to what Barbara Cook is saying in her email to me, so I wasn't sure what it was.
Change order 8, maybe that's the septic system, I don't know.
No, that's 7,
That's, you sure? Okay.
so I should get some.
We had 2 coming together, there was a septic system and the moldings
Okay.
within the last few weeks.
Well,
Is that change, is that
is the board-
email, today's email?
This email came in on it came in on Friday afternoon. I
Okay,
didn't
so
see
they were-
it till today.
I think they were anticipating having a construction meeting here today, and so that
They did. I saw that email today saying they had to cancel it and move it to the 29th.
Okay, so I think that they were
Um,
hoping to have that information for tonight's meeting, but on change order, whatever rate. But, yeah, let's just postpone
Has there been any formal action by the board to reject the molding change order?
it. I thought we voted not to.
We didn't reject it, I think we're not happy with
Is
it.
it-
We're trying to see if they can come up with a better price.
Okay, so that's where it's being held in abeyance right now.
Okay.
Okay.
When we were out there last week talking to Clerk of the Works, we came to the conclusion it'd be wise to forego the molding for now for $9,800
Yeah, we don't,
and put that up, we can have it installed at any given time later on.
would it behoove this board to vote to just reject it altogether right now? If it was the molding thing, change order rate?
You know, I would say I haven't seen anything in black and white to say what's exactly in change order number
Yeah,
8, so
so
I'm a little,
There's no
unless you
detail there.
voted
so-
on it, I don't know.
I think what we should do is find out exactly what
I think
number 8
it's-
is,
Yeah.
and then vote at it at the next meeting.
Yeah.
I think that would be fine, and I don't think that should really, I know, when I was down at the water treatment plant last week, they're really working on finished work floors.
Did you
and
see
things.
what we was talking about with the molding?
Yes, I did, and it was in the industrial area of the facility. I really could not notice it unless I really tried to see. There is one section that's soundproof area where there's some loud compression type noise where, you know, it's not there, but I think if that's something you wanted to do down the road, do it at another time, get a town meeting appropriation for it. But I don't know if there's other things attached to this that I'm not aware of other than molding and change order. So I'll get that description of what exactly this is and get it to the water board tomorrow so you can have time to review that prior to your next meeting.
Sounds good.
Okay.
What else we got?
The selectmen want a letter welcoming our new acting superintendent aboard as the acting superintendent. So we should get a letter together.
They want a letter for what?
I wasn't aware of that, but,
We'll have to-
probably just something in writing, that
Yeah,
you could direct Carmen to do would be fine.
can you put together a letter
Just,
so I can sign it?
stating probably the date, so there's something in the record
Yeah.
that there was,
The
water superintendent in name.
As of last Monday night. See, we were supposed to have a joint meeting, and I was the only one that went there. So they wanted a letter ratifying their decision, well, not their decision, but they want a letter, from us saying that we voted to,
I thought we did that on a Saturday.
but they wanted a letter to talk
Oh.
about.
You need to see some written confirmation for the file.
It's a short and sweet letter. If you want help writing it, I'll dictate it to you over the phone.
That's fine.
Okay. I know it's your personal time,
Yes, I have.
so we can take it from here. I think we're gonna do the purchase order.
Okay, all right.
Thanks, Deb.
Thank you, Jim.
Debbie, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Big one.
Let's go for it.
Good night.
Good night, Deb.
Everybody.
You read them off and you'll sign them. Ready?
Yep.
BioMarine, $87. Comcast, Internet Services for March 20th, 10712.
Where's this, internet? Is this for the office here? Or is that
Yes.
for the, does that cover the tablets that the guys have on the trucks?
Everything, yeah.
Data processing, 170. Another one for data processing service.
Hold on, look at this one. Okay, what is it?
Data processing service, $1,221.66.
What's this for the last billing?
Another one for processing services for $85. Dig Safe for $28 for the first quarter. Now we're back to Milton Cat again. Tobacco service repairs, $3,159.46.
I think I briefly talked to Mark on this.
Did we get that straightened out?
Yeah, that's something we can't
We gotta pay it.
dispute, so we have to pay it. Mark questioned it twice.
This
I
is
finally got clarification on it, so.
Nabaja Analytical LLC, 10 sites, both FEMN, to be chemical, that's $700. Oh, that's one.
Yeah.
Another one for 993 Cable Street for $30.
Excuse me. I said it the last meeting, and I'll say it again. I'm not signing off on this one. Replace seals and gaskets, stabilize cylinder. We did not repair that cylinder. We bought a new one.
Okay,
So that should not be on there.
well, do you want to make a call there and find out what's
I'll
going on?
be glad to.
Okay, let's scratch it off. We'll scratch off cat. Where is it? Okay. So you're gonna take the bill, make a call, find out what the,
Exactly.
Because I don't know the details that Mark told me, so. I forgot what
What's the difference?
To refresh your memory. They came here, they took the cylinder off. Fixed the stabilizer up on the backhoe.
they were. Yeah.
They took it back to the shop to repair it, and they said it could not be fixed. So we purchased an aftermarket, and I defy you to tell the difference on the backhoe, which one's the aftermarket, looks identical.
Yeah.
To make a long story short, they're charging us for seals. Excuse me. They're charging us for replace seals and gasket in a stabilized cylinder. Well, they didn't repair that one. The old one, we requested to bring it back, and it's out there.
Is it possible that they tried to put seals in a broken cylinder and it didn't work? They're charging us for it, I don't know, that's just an idea.
Phone call, find out.
Yeah, phone call, find out, say it's not right, you deduct that off the bill, okay?
What I was trying to say.
All right, Nashova?
The last one was for $30. Which one you got?
Yep.
We got water processing fee March for $41.37.
Okay, that's a split bill.
Pen and check, April 2014 contract service, $5,166.66.
Okay,
Another one for pen and check, 401 Central Street water bill, $24.35. Why are we paying them for the water bill?
well, the previous balance, I don't know. Is it our water bill?
Yeah, it says 401 Central Street water bill.
Maybe the contract was gonna pick that up and we have to write on a check back and, because we're gonna take care of it, I don't know.
We gotta put a hold on it.
Well, it's been good, gone through once, twice. I don't have a problem with it, it's only $24. And it looks like, she went through it. It sounds like it's a, you know, a credit or something, so maybe they picked up and they just, it's an accounting thing.
Russell and Consulting, 4 weeks ending 4/4/14 and 4/14/31/120.
All right, you spent 17 hours on it.
Is that the thing for the water rate thing?
Yeah. Yeah. You spent some time on it.
Go that, and discount a month. They added, instead of subtracting the discount.
24.35.
$24.35. That was on the warrant,
Why is it 26.56?
with the price right now. I don't know. Put in highlights, so.
I understand that, but they added it.
Yeah, let's break it up. Okay. All right, Russell is 3120.
You ready?
Yeah.
Sprint Nextel, cell phone, March 11th, April 1st, $211.73. Cost of
Hold on, let me see. 185.
185 in the busted knuckle. How's he doing with that?
Like he's pulled it apart, and he's getting it addressed right now.
Okay. Raleigh Electric Light, 42 Central Street, 574.
Yeah.
Prospect Hill, 1887. 401 Central Street, 43127. Shut your lights off at night, huh?
431.27.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, let's see, take a look at this. That seems kind of high. I don't know what's the typical bill. Oh, here it is. It was even more last month. What was it?
We'll use a lot more kilowatts.
Well, we get gas heaters out there, right?
Yeah, we need kilowatts up top compared to the previous.
Well, yeah, that's a heating thing. So we got electric heat here too?
Yeah, and here.
This thing's been messed up too. It's come down almost 1,000 kilowatt hours. All right, well, it is what it is.
Havel Street, 1,592.
Yeah.
Boxers Road, 35068.
Okay.
Pingree Farm Road, 28089. Then we go to Verizon, well number 5, March 12th, April 11th, 6708.
I don't see that. Oh, yeah, yeah. What is it, Verizon?
Verizon, yes. Well number 5, 6708.
Okay,
Well 3, 4526.
okay,
Well 2, 3846.
okay.
For a total of 17,167.60.
Okay. Let's take that off.
Night, Dave.
Take care now.
See you, Dave.
Yeah,
Take care, Dave.
What you got, Jamie?
Okay. We got a calculator here?
You got Jamie, you don't need the calculator.
Not that I don't trust you, Jamie.
No, that's all good. I'm gonna rate it as I go though and see if we can win this time. What was our starting number?
17167.6.
0.60.
Yep. Minus 3159.46.
You're gonna beat me.
What do you got?
I don't, no, I told you you were gonna beat me.
Oh, come on.
My
Tell me
brain
what
is
did you
full.
get?
I ended up with 14 cents so far. You beat me this time.
140814, TAT.
Okay, we're tied.
Thanks, Connie.
We need that set on the table, we're all back. Just kind of like a report, like the calendar.
Good sign.
I've had those ones for some gas, little ones. $5, $6, if you want in the truck, one at the house. Well,
This bill's frustrating. I brought this up a month ago.
Brought it up.
$3,159, but that,
Each
$270.
one's called down there a couple times, so
Howard, can you get that in the right?
the $274 should not be in there.
He had a reason, I don't know, stupid, so can you check out on it because,
I'll be happy to.
what else you got?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to enter this in for Rob. He had stated that he had got this approved. It might affect the staffing plan for June. It's vacation time. It's already prepaid.
Mhm.
He says he can't cancel it.
Okay. I say just go ahead and call him from home.
Yeah, take it with you. Can you get this to Debbie?
Sure.
Yeah, it's like a copy of that. And when you walk out, take this with him. And, things like that.
Okay, so that, I think that's pretty much it. Any comments from anybody in the audience that, any kind of questions you might have? Okay. Have a motion?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.